I think there's going to be a generation of software engineers that are like good enough because it's so easy to retool there with all these code gen tools. Like the barrier to entry is so low. You're going to be good enough engineers. There's going to be tons of those. But to be exceptional, like the top 1%, I think you're going to need to get into deliberate practice. I mean, the analogy we're talking about is Malcolm Gladwell popularized this concept of 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert, which came from this research from, what was his name?
Anders Ericsson.
Anderson Ericsson, right? Which it wasn't just, the research was very specific. It was about how do you find world-class violinists? And it wasn't about just putting the time, but deliberate practice. It's like hours that are actually planned and thought, and it's hard work. You could become an expert with less hours. So I think what's happening with now CodeGen tools is that it's very cheap to put in the hours because the output is just so quickly. You can get to good enough. But to become the best in the world and the best founder, you're going to need that deliberate practice to go into the details. And you're going to have to peel the onion and understand the systems and get to, again, to some extent, being classically trained. I mean, a good example is, maybe we go back to history, is like Picasso, one of the greatest painters. He was amazing at drawing lifelike pictures.
Which is not what he's famous for. Of course, when you imagine a Picasso, you imagine the opposite of that.
Yeah.
There's this famous sequence of drawings on how he got to a abstract bowl. It starts from being lifelike to iterations until he gets to the essence, to kind of the abstract art that he's very well known for.
But he could only get to be the best in the world because he was actually a very good painter and classically trained and could draw super well. But that's not what he's known for. So I do think we'll see these two classes of engineers.